Greetings, everyone. Some of you will know that I don't do legacies. I'm not into the idea of legacies. What I mean is that I think the word is overused and trite. And I can't bear to think of people, young people especially, encumbered with a heavy burden of trying to do something that is unique and memorable and lasting, that will change the world forever. There is enough pressure in life without that kind of pressure being added. What exactly is a legacy? When a person dies, the mark that he or she left on the world represents that person's legacy. It is about the richness of the individual's life, including what that person accomplished and the impact that they had on people and on places. Ultimately, the story of a person's life reflects their legacy. Now, I have no problem with the definition of legacy as a gift by will, especially of money or other personal property. That is, a bequest, something concrete, material that someone leaves someone else when they die. Our children are not likely to receive a legacy in monetary terms that is even vaguely impressive. But I think that what I object to mostly is that to live with the idea of leaving a legacy, apart from money, is too artificial and manufactured and false, as though what is important in life is to find out how you can leave a legacy for the future generation. Instead, just get on with life. Have a good time. Treat others properly. Don't worry about how people will remember you, the impression that you have made. The impact of your life on other people is subtle very often, and it is intangible. The impact of our lives is not something that we can measure, and nor should we want to. That impact is, as I say, it's subtle, but it's also much more vast and extensive than we can imagine. We leave behind us in our wake huge numbers of people who have been affected by who we are and where we have been and the words we've spoken and the actions that we are responsible for. And many of these people are not even aware that they have been affected by us, and nor are we aware of the effects and the impact of our words and actions. The very atmosphere is colored by our presence and our participation in this wonderful thing called life. But I don't think that we should be setting out to do anything startlingly dramatic. Some people have accomplished great things that have benefited the world hugely in amazing ways, and we are greatly indebted to people who have done that. But what is commendable about some of them is their humility and their dedication to a task or a project without seeking to leave a legacy. They simply had a passion for something that perhaps in the long run improved the welfare of human beings significantly. Their focus was on their project, their passion, and not on their legacy. We are hugely important in one sense, and in another sense, we are not important at all. One day, the world will get by happily without us. But how we live today is of great consequence. Our most critical contribution to life, to the universe, to humanity, is who we are becoming. There is no one quite like you or me. No one able to say or do things in quite the same manner. No one else who flavors the atmosphere with exactly the same scent. It's who we are, not what we do. I hope that, if nothing else, as each day passes, I will become more loving. And I want to be someone who encourages and affirms other people. Paul uses the expression speaking the truth in love in Ephesians. And we've got to be very careful of that expression, because sometimes people say, I'm going to speak the truth in love, and you know very clearly that what they're about to speak forth is a twisted perception of the truth, and in fact there's no love at all. But the expression is good, speaking the truth in love. We need courage to do this. Whether speaking the truth in love means saying something that might be hard to hear, hard to receive, because it exposes something that is wrong in a general attitude, perhaps. Or whether speaking the truth in love means saying something that expresses the depth of our affection, and in expressing that truth we feel particularly vulnerable. At funerals, the depth of people's feelings for the person who has died is very evident in the tributes and in spoken and written messages to the family. Perhaps we have communicated our feelings quite openly whilst that person has still been alive. But always, after their death, people seem to be released into greater exuberance, released to be more effusive. That happens once the person has died. We suddenly feel as though we have a new freedom to say a lot more than we ever expressed before. If we have something to say it today. The fact is, expressing our love and appreciation is affirming, and it's upbuilding, and it is edifying. It releases people to continue the journey of becoming who they really are. I'm not suggesting that we should become gushy people. Some of the gushy people strike us as being completely insincere because they use adjectives frivolously, and we really don't know where we stand. We have the great gifts of WhatsApp and of Gmail, and it is easy to say things through the written word that are not so easy to say with the spoken word. We all need to know how much we mean to each other. The challenge is, will we make the time? Will we make the effort to say today what we really want to say? even though it's a bit risky? Will we set ourselves on a course of action involving communicating our real feelings and expressing our love and appreciation more easily and more often? What we say with our lives today is so important. Becoming free to express who we are and how we feel. I'm not talking about mutual back-scratching societies where we say warm and fuzzy things to each other in our cozy group of friends. Let's try moving beyond that. If we have to be known for anything, and if we have to be remembered for anything, now or after we've gone in future years, then apart from our gifts and skills, let's be known as 1. Someone who loves life. 2. Someone who really deeply appreciates beauty. 3. Someone who genuinely speaks truth in love. 4thly, someone who loves easily. 5, someone who listens really well. 6, someone who notices strangers so that they know that they are real people. 7, someone who spurs others on towards love and good deeds. 8, someone who laughs freely. 9, someone who sets great store by important relationships. And 10, someone who will take risks moving into new territory. Being ready to say and do things that might appear to be a little out of character. Always ready to kind of forge ahead and do surprising things if they feel appropriate. I realize that this is more like a it's more like a Nigel blog rather than a sermon, although I remind you that I did quote one verse of scripture. But I'm still reeling from a week of emotional turmoil, strain and stress, a heart that's full. I've been longing to get things right in terms of a tribute and a funeral for Jane and for the sake of the family. And out of the overflow of my heart, my eyes seem very close to speaking in tears like Jane. I hope that some of what I have shared is helpful. Let me remind you, life is beautiful. Did you see that wonderful movie years back? Life is beautiful. People are beautiful. This world is beautiful. You are beautiful. I thank God for you. And I don't care what kind of legacy you leave or I leave. I'm not interested in legacies. I'm interested in our being real today and our being released to be who we are and to express who we are. I'm interested in our being able to give ourselves to the wonder of living and I'm interested in our being able to suck all the enjoyment out of this wonderful, beautiful thing called life while we have the breath, the ability to do so. I'm interested, I'm keen, I'm passionate about our living fully now and being who we are. And yes, I do care that the atmosphere is fragranced. I care that who we are somehow is caught up into the very atmosphere and changes the world in very subtle ways. I'm interested in that. I'm keen on contributing what I can to making the world a more beautiful place. I don't care, apart from that, how people remember me. My gift to the world is me. Your gift to the world is you. Amen.